So, welcome back again. This is The Real Truth by Ray, me. This is the special edition of the Maradona contents that I started making since yesterday, the 25th of November. Today is 26th. The day he died was yesterday, the 25th. So I've dedicated most of my content from yesterday, since last night, through today and to tomorrow, to Maradona, just to pay tribute to him. So my previous video was about him, as a footballer, and how he braced the earth and entertained all of us as fans and as football lovers. Right now, what I'm going to do is another edition of content with regards to Maradona, but this time it's to do with how well he played against England in the 1986 World Cup in Mexico, and the goal he scored, which led to them scoring the second goal and taking them through to the semi-final and then the final, and eventually winning the World Cup in 86. Now, this will be titled in some ways in relation to Maradona potentially being forgiven by Peter Shilton for the goal he scored with his hand. This has been rambling on for how many years now? 34 years. And England don't seem to have been able to forgive Maradona for scoring that goal, because it's believed that if he hadn't scored that goal with his hand, which was the first goal, I think it was an equalizer, he wouldn't have scored the second goal, because obviously the England players were despondent. They were still reeling from the fact that he'd scored with his hand. He scored the first goal with his hand. So it was very difficult for the England players to actually come back from that to play to their ability. So eventually he just ran through them and scored the second goal, and eventually sending them to the semi-final. So my question is, should Maradona be forgiven by Peter Shilton for the hand of God goal in that World Cup? That's the question. In my opinion, now remember, everything I'm saying is from my perspective. You can weigh in your opinion in the comment section, and remember to subscribe and share and like and press the notification button so you get any video I send you. It's very important to do that. It helps the channel grow as well. Yep. All right, thank you. So the question is, should Maradona be forgiven by Peter Shilton for the hand of God goal? In my opinion, I would say, I'm not Peter Shilton. I don't know what he's going through. He's been through for the last 34 years for thinking that a diminutive man like Maradona could jump that high to head the ball above him, being a goalkeeper, and score. So he felt embarrassed at the time. From what I can hear, he felt embarrassed. But then, in retrospect, he realized, it was the use of the hand rather than the head. So that made him very furious. And so he thought over the years Maradona would come out and apologize for that. But he never really did, according to Peter Shilton. So because of that, he's not got over it. He's paid his tributes and everything, but he still reiterated the fact that Maradona never came out to apologize for scoring that goal. And so he's not actually really forgiving him for that, according to what the media is saying. So what do you think? Do you think he should be forgiven by Peter Shilton, or should he hold on to that grudge? Should he hold on to that bitterness, that resentment? Should he hold on to that? Because 34 years have passed. That is a long time. I cannot hold on to something for that long, to be honest. When I'm angry at you, I say my piece and I move on. If I don't say it, you can see from my face that I am angry at you, which means I've got to say it and be free, because I don't want to be angry. So I'm thinking about this. I've never thought about this that way, but since he passed, I've been hearing interviews from most of the former England players, the present ones, and they've all been talking about the fact that, it was embarrassing that goal happened, but maybe he should be forgiven. Personally, there's nothing to forgive. There was the referee's decision. The referee should have whistled. The linesman should have seen that. At the time we called them linesmen, now we call them assistant referees. So the linesman, the then linesman, should have seen that was a handball. So I don't think it's Maradona's fault that the goal was the goal stood. I don't think it's Maradona's fault. He celebrated, yes, of course, but in a way they were thinking that he conned the referee and his officials. I don't think he conned anybody. I think, in my opinion, the decision was the referees and his assistants to make. As a footballer, you play according to the whistle. So if the whistle doesn't go off, you continue, and that's what happened. So he celebrated. The referees and his linesmen said it was a handball. Yeah, handball, fine, they continue. But they never said anything. So as a result, play continued, the goal was allowed, and I think it was an equalizer. I've forgotten the game itself, but I think it was an equalizer. Yeah, if anybody remembers, you can tell me if it was an equalizer or a lead that they took. But I think that particular game ended 2-1 to Argentina. So yes. However, I believe that the England team, they played well that day. They became very despondent after that particular hand of God goal, which became infamous and legendary. It's become the goal of the century, of that century, and even this century, it seems like it continues. That goal would never be understood. Even though people have scored with their hands since then, that particular one was a special goal because it led them to win the World Cup. You understand? So, I put the question out there again. Do you think Maradona should be forgiven by Peter Shilton for the hand of God goal? Yes or no? Put it in the comment section. That is the topic of the day. Should Maradona be forgiven by Peter Shilton for the hand of God goal in Mexico 86? In my opinion, time has passed. It's been 34 years. Bygones be bygones, and let's forgive and forget, because we need to move on. So, in my opinion, Maradona should be forgiven. He should have been forgiven even way before he died, but now he's dead. He should be forgiven, and people should move on with their lives. You don't want to be holding on to resentment all the time. It doesn't help anyone. It's not healthy. It could cause you a lot of health issues. So, personally, yes, I understand the goal cost England to progress to the semi-final, but at the end of the day, what's done is done. We should move on, and let's just pay tribute to the great man, Diego Maradona. Once again, rest in peace, Maradona. You've left us, but you'll never be forgotten. Peace.